Biggest story of the offseason, and making it even more stunning, the fact that it has been largely ignored by the likes of ESPN and NFL media because they didn't report it. Chris and I started talking about it in late February, the possibility of Tom Brady and Sean Payton to Miami. Dave Hyde of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel reported on Friday that it was in play. It wasn't just in play. Look, I've become more open and brazen and candid about it. It was happening.
It was halfway down the road.
Done.
Right.
It wasn't. It was done. It was just a matter of how it all unfolded. But you know how these big deals go. They get done, and then there's a way that it has to play out. It was done. Tom Brady retires February 1. The next week, he would have been named minority owner of the Miami Dolphins. Then, not long after that, they would have done a deal with the Saints for Sean Payton. And then at some point after that, after the Buccaneers had found another quarterback, and they really couldn't have brought back Tom Brady because they've devoted the resources to another guy that they're getting ready to be their quarterback, that's when you take what you get from the Dolphins, and he becomes their quarterback. It was happening. The Brian Flores lawsuit, filed the same day Tom Brady retired, derailed everything, but it was happening. And what Dave Hyde has added to that conversation, that it's not a surprise to me, but, you know, one of these reports is going to wake more people up. Hyde said that the Dolphins were going to pay Sean Payton $100 million over 5 years. Now, Albert Breer of SI.com yesterday said it was actually 4 years. Either way, $20 million or $25 million per year, a $100 million contract for Sean Payton. You don't get to that point if it's not done. You don't get to the point where you know what they're going to pay him if it's just exploratory. It was a done deal. It was happening, but for the Brian Flores lawsuit. And I'm telling you, the more I think about it, because I really do think it was in Brian Flores' interest to wait for the Texans to hire Josh McCown, wait for the Dolphins to hire Sean Payton, makes your case stronger, right? I really do feel like, and I don't know this, but I do feel like that there may have been a desire to blow that up and keep Stephen Ross from getting Sean Payton and Tom Brady. It was a nice little collateral benefit to filing the lawsuit when Brian Flores did, Chris.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't. Yeah, I mean, hey, you're getting, screwed over. Why not, screw those people over on your way out the door? I could certainly see that mindset there a little bit, or make things hard on them. But yeah, I don't even know what else to say here. I feel like we've talked about it so many times. I want to just be like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so.
We've been saying it since February 28th.
I'm sick of going on radio networks and people going, what about that rumor? And like, rumor, we've been talking about this. I'm telling everybody.
I've had that happen.
I know.
Hey.
We are the people that started that real factual rumor.
What do you think of that? What do you think about that Sean Payton to Miami rumor? Well, I'll tell you what I think about.
And I got some pushback from some people who backed away eventually once I started pushing back, especially even Tampa Bay. I mean, come on, it's as real as it gets. It was not like real. It was halfway down the road and almost home. That's how far down the road they were with this conversation. And then again, Brady was asked about it last week, and what did he do? BS'd and didn't say one damn thing. Oh, I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of teams.
And he changed the subject.
Right, he changed the subject. Come on. He was leaving Tampa Bay. There was compensation already discussed now, and that's real. And then it was compensation discussed between Miami and the Saints and the Bucs and the Miami Dolphins as well. It was all in the works and happening, and the plan was going as planned until, like you said, Brian Flores and all that happened. So, again, this is what I love. We're going to continue to get more inklings and inklings and inklings to where, it's going to come, like you said it from the start. It's going to come late August or early September.
Week 1, Sunday Splash,
yeah,
ESPN,
exactly.
Shefty.
That's what's going to happen.
Tom Brady begins his third season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it was almost a different team. Tune in next.
I know.
For more.
Right. That's what's going to
happen.
happen.
Out there for 7 months.
Yeah.
Let me add a little something to it. Because I was thinking about this, like, what else do I know about it that hasn't been said? This is an interesting little wrinkle to the whole thing, because once we started poking around, remember, you and I text, I say, this is kind of at the point where you and I are both hearing enough separately that we need to actually posture this
a little bit
and frame it
right.
and pull the sheet off of the statue and let the world see it. So I did some actual real reporting. Even though I am not trained, I am experienced. I'm kind of like Jerry Jones as a GM. After 30 years, even though you had no business doing it in the first place, you kind of start to figure out the job. So I reached out to the various parties involved to try to get information. I asked the Dolphins about it, and they acknowledged that they contacted the Saints with an inquiry about the possibility of hiring Sean Payton. And eventually, because we were pushing it, Chris Greer, the GM of the team, was asked at the scouting combine about it, and he admitted it. Chris Greer called Jeff Ireland, the Saints assistant GM, former Dolphins GM, to have the conversation, and Ireland told Greer, basically, don't waste your time. Here's the rest of the story on that. That wasn't part of the effort to get Sean Payton. That was just coincidental. Greer didn't know what was going on. It was all happening above him. It was already done above him when he made the call to Jeff Ireland. It was completely and totally coincidental.
I also will believe that things were done above most people in Tampa as well. I do. I got some pushback from people in the Tampa organization over this story a little bit. At first, and I pushed back a little bit, and then they backed off because they were like, oh, wait, whoa. Now, where they did not like, and Brady alluded to this a little last week, I believe, I talked about, hey, what happened was free agency was starting, and Tampa was going to have to start to get into the quarterback conversation a little bit because they have no quarterback. And that's where Brady had to start going, okay, well, wait, damn, I don't have any other options. I'll come back to Tampa. I had thrown out Deshaun Watson's name when I discussed that. I was wrong. I didn't know that for a fact. I was wrong. I just threw it out there for an example. I know the Bucs didn't like that, so I apologize for throwing his name out there. But everything else is spot on. And just like you're talking about with the Dolphins, I know that, yes, these were high-level conversations. This was Brady and his representation with the owners. He's an owner world, everybody. When you're Tom Brady or you're a franchise quarterback, you're the most powerful person in the organization. You're more powerful than the coach and everybody. It's the quarterback, the owner, and you get to start to have those type of conversations, and that's what went down, certainly. And that conversation was way down the road, and Miami and Tom Brady and Sean Payton was happening.
If he wanted to make that power play, he makes that power play. He brought the team an unexpected Super Bowl win in 2020. He gave them a full stadium in 2021 when they hadn't had one since their Super Bowl year. Yeah, he was getting out if he wanted out, and it was done. And one of these days, they're going to wake up to it. Now, I know some of the folks at ESPN are talking about it, but it's never been really mentioned or discussed or even acknowledged by their news-breaking group because, look, it's funny to see this. It's not theirs, so they're acting like it's not real. Same as NFL media. I don't think NFL media has breathed a word of this. They didn't report it, so it's not real. It's not ours. We're just going to ignore it because we don't want to have to give somebody else credit because we got scooped. We should have had it. It's amazing, and I know that the reporters are under a lot of pressure and it's competitive, but I mean, come on. It is what it is. It's out there. So what? You're not going to get every damn story. That doesn't mean you ignore the ones you don't get.
I agreed. I feel like there's two things in play there. I think the NFL doesn't want that story to be out there. That would be the first thing, right? I mean, just because of the Brian Flores situation and all that. There's so many illegal things about Sean Payton and Brady going to – I mean, they broke every law in the CBA. I mean, they broke every law.
Tampering galore.
Exactly right. I mean, everything there. So then there's that. And then the other aspect I will bring into this, and a guy I got great respect for here, and Adam Schefter. But Adam Schefter is a Michigan guy. He is a Brady guy by all accounts. And, the owner of the Dolphins, where did he go to school? Oh, that's right, Michigan. So I could also see personal relationship getting into that one and being like, I won't tell, some of the secrets of some of my friends here. And maybe that's why that story's not out there, too.
So let's be clear on what you're saying, because I agree with you. Depriving the audience of the truth, putting your own personal relationships and agendas above giving the audience the truth. My only commitments to the audience, I don't care who gets pissed off at me. As you know, Chris,
yes, I'm
going to tell the truth. Whatever's out there is out there. You got to deal with it. And, it's for the audience to decide whether or not they're going to listen to people who tell them the truth or only the truth that is convenient for the reporter to tell. And then you just ignore the story. It's just ignored. And so, look, I think more and more people are starting to realize there was something there, and it's a fascinating case study, and it's a shame that others didn't jump in. More would be revealed. And, Chris, you touched on something I think very important. The biggest rule that would have been violated by this, not necessarily the letter of the rule, because the Dolphins would have made sure they complied, but clearly the spirit of the rule, the Rooney Rule.
Yeah.
You've already decided you're hiring a white coach. Period. You've made the decision before you even embark on the full-blown process. Just like Jerry Jones was going to do in 2019 when he lined up Sean Payton. He still had a coach in Jason Garrett. Jason was getting fired. They were going to do a search that complied with the Rooney Rule, and then they were going to trade for Sean Payton. It was all set up ahead of time, and it was just a matter of implementing it. I think you're right. NFL media, they know they're stepping onto the third rail if they talk about this story, because it exposes the underbelly that has really characterized the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The Rooney Rule isn't something that owners generally look to as some guiding light that gives them a better sense of how they should go about hiring coaches. It's like filling out your tax form. You just got to do it. We got to check boxes. We got to fill in numbers. We got to do this. We got to do that. Form over substance. At the end of the day, we're still hiring the guy we want. Oh, and we're going to set it all up before we embark on this phony process of complying with this rule, because the league requires us to comply with this rule.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think, yes, all of that. And then the fact that, yeah, the owners were so involved, I think, here in, basically, talking about commodities that weren't available, on top of that. So there's a lot of issues there where I think that would scare NFL media off of, and as far as that's concerned. But, hey, this was a real thing. There's no doubt about that. We know that. And I think you're right. It's going to continue to come out. And at some point, everybody's going to buy into what we've been trying to tell them since, what was that, mid-March when we broke or started talking about this?
It was February 28th. February 28th,
yeah.
Since we're already tooting our own horn and or wearing a groove in our own back, let me just say, to the discerning NFL information and analysis consumer, you got plenty of choices. It's up to you to choose whether or not you're getting your information from people being straight with you, or whether you're dealing with people who have agendas, whether it's personal agendas, whether it's they work for the NFL, so there's certain things they can't say because they work for the NFL, and paychecks are literally signed by Roger Goodell. You decide where you're going to get your information. It's up to you. We're still going to be here doing what we do. Now, the Sean Payton transaction would have entailed, I'm told, a first-round pick from the Dolphins to the Saints.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.